welcome back to the Optimization Toolbox podcast. I'm your host, Jenna Redfield. Today I'm going to be doing a video update. This is actually part 2 of a YouTube video that I filmed about 2 years ago. Basically, it was my top 13 strategies for focus. And I wanted to give an update because there has been so many more strategies that I found in the last 2 years. I've actually spent a lot of time the last 2 years learning more, skills and reading a ton of books. Like I've read so many books, at least 50 in the last 2 years, at least. I think I read 40 last year. So I've read a ton of self-help, personal development books. And I wanted to share some of the best hacks and productivity tools and tips that I have found. So let's just get to it because there's a lot here. So make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow my podcast, The Optimization Toolbox, and big exciting announcement. I am launching a newsletter, a weekly newsletter. This is going to be consistently sent every week. It's going to go alongside the podcast, but it's going to have a ton of other tips and tricks and tools and resources inside of it. And it's called the Optimization Toolbox newsletter. So you can sign up for it. I'll have the link below. Make sure that you're signed up and I hope that you can check it out. It's going to come out every week. So let's get to the video and the podcast. All right, so let's start with number 1. Urge surfing. I literally listened to a podcast this week and he talked about this concept of urge surfing and it blew my mind and I've started using it and it's super effective. Now for this, it's more from a impulse sort of thing with if you're trying to maybe you're trying to stay on the path and you're just constantly being, impulsive. For me, it's like food or, I'm wanting to do something. It's basically this concept of riding that, noticing that you have a trigger or that you're impulsive, but just saying, nope, I'm just riding that wave. You see the urge, but you don't give into it. And then just visualizing it as surfing has been so helpful for me because instead of just saying no, it's nope, I'm going to see that I'm doing that urge and I'm just going to surf it. So look up urge surfing. It's on the, I'll send the link to the podcast I listen to. It's Healthy Gamer GG, which I think is a great podcast and YouTube channel. I recently discovered it and the topics, I'm not a gamer really, but I really like this guy's podcast and he has a lot of great topics. All right, number 2. This is a really important one. I might have mentioned this in the first one, but that's doing a dopamine detox and getting rid of your apps. I did a full social media detox a couple weeks ago for about 2 days and it was so needed. My brain was on fire. I could not get anything done. I was kind of in a depressive state and just going mentally insane in my opinion. And I was like, all right, I'm taking a step back. I am detoxing and I am getting out of social media for a bit. So for me, blocking apps and kind of forcing myself not to look at them throughout the day, tracking your screen time, figuring out what is distracting you from what you need to do is so powerful. And I think it's something that we need to have more of. And as somebody who does social media for a living, it's very hard, but I have to actually detox from my phone, specifically because dopamine, we could do a whole episode on dopamine. It's a really big issue, especially if you have ADHD, just figuring that out. One of the things that I've realized in the last couple of years is that we as a society need to touch more grass. There's a phrase go out and touch some grass. And I think it's very, very honestly true. There's a couple of concepts when it comes to nature that help us focus. Number 1 is forest bathing, which is where you walk through the woods and you don't have your phone and you're just sort of just taking in the forest and taking in the trees, taking in nature. Maybe even go hug a tree. It just really kind of grounds us back to, reality. And then the other one is actually this tool called grounding that I found, or it's earthing. There's all these, I guess it's a little weird woo-woo, but I actually found it's very helpful. Basically taking your socks off and standing on the grass with your bare feet for 10 minutes. It helps calm you down and I think it really centers us and helps us focus. I find that this is a really great centering thing that I've been doing alongside of meditation. So meditation is the last thing that I've been doing a lot. I've been trying to meditate every day for at least 10 to 15 minutes and it's been very helpful with kind of centering myself. So that's kind of more of the stuff that I've realized over the last couple of years. I go on a walk every single day and it really helps my brain sort of focus a little bit more. All right, so this is one that I've talked about a little bit and I've kind of gotten other people into it and it's called Scary Hour. Basically what Scary Hour is you spend an hour of your day doing the scary tasks that you don't want to do. This helps you avoid procrastination because it's like, all right, for this 1 hour, I'm going to do all the scary things, whether it's your taxes or contacting someone you don't want to contact. It's like you have to put on a brave face for an hour. It could be every day. It could be once a week. It's your scary hour. Highly recommend trying out scary hour. This is actually a new one for me, and I feel like a lot of people do this, but I actually do it intentionally, and I actually like still sign up for emails that I want, and that's setting up a new email just for newsletters. Yeah, so what I did over the last several months is I have, every time like someone asks for your email, I've set up an email called Jenna's email newsletters at gmail.com. And now I will sign up for newsletters specifically with that email, so I know that those are all of my subscriptions. There's stuff where it's not a course I've bought, it's just if I want like a free download or something. This allows me to not get email notifications all day long from my newsletters and email subscriptions. I think it's very important to not be distracted by those. For a while I was turning email off of my phone, but I realized that there was important emails I was missing. So I definitely have to make sure that my email is turned on. So this allows me to actually have a separate email address. I don't add that to my phone, and I'm not distracted during the day. All right, this is one that's really important for me personally, and that is setting deadlines publicly. I am the kind of person that I don't want to disappoint anyone. So for me, I actually am more motivated by punishment than I am by rewards. And so if I look like a failure to people, I feel so much worse. So I actually get things done. So for me to stop procrastinating and to focus is to really set those deadlines publicly and kind of shame myself if I don't. That really puts my, butt into gear. It gives me, that lack of analysis paralysis, and it helps with, focusing on the Parkinson's law, which basically means, the amount of work you can do shrinks based off of the time that you set. So for example, I wanted to have this course launch for my Notion template creator course, and I was like, I'm gonna have it by the end of April. I ended up doing the 1st of May, so it was very close, but I was like the last Friday of April, and I worked so hard to get it done because I told everyone that it was gonna be ready by then. So I think having that public deadline is something that really pushed me to focus and stop procrastinating. Number 7, this is for the ladies out there, the women who have cycles. Cycle syncing. I've done multiple podcast episodes, YouTube videos about this topic, so go listen to those. But when you're in sync with your natural hormones, you are able to focus so much better because you know where you are in your cycle, and you're able to kind of harness that energy that you have, whether it's a lethargic day, whether it's a high energy day. You can sort of plan it in advance based off of where you're going to be in your cycle. I'm not going to go into it much, but just go listen and watch those episodes. I'll link them below, but there's a lot more to it, and I just wanted to share that that's actually helping me focus a lot more in 2023. All right, this is a big one, fasting. Fasting has become one of my favorite things to do. I fast once a week for about 30 to 40 hours. I also did like a 3-day fast, but what's great about fasting is it really does help you focus while you're in it. It kind of lowers the dopamine rush in some ways, where it kind of allows you to focus while you're in the state of fasting. I know a lot of people intermittent fast. Highly recommend the book Fast Like a Girl if you're a woman. There's also just some other great resources. Andrew Huberman obviously has some podcast episodes about it, but fasting has allowed me to focus so much in the last year, and I think that a lot of people are missing out on its benefits and all that it can do for you. Along with that, kind of going off of that, ice baths, so good. I feel like such a high after I do an ice bath sauna. It's amazing. All right, number 9, journaling. This is something I'm still trying to get better at. Of all the things I've been working on, this is the one that I feel like still eludes me. But I really think that by journaling, you can get a lot of those things out of your head and onto paper. There's a ton of different ways to journal, whether it's bullet journaling, you could, audibly talk out loud. There's a lot of options. There's tons of videos on YouTube about journaling, but I think, writing things down, brain dumping, saying all the things that you have in your head really kind of focuses you and calms you down and kind of figures out a way to move forward. All right, so number 10 is monotasking. I've read a couple books about monotasking and figuring this out. I had Anna Pugh on the podcast. She talked about monotasking. You should listen to that episode. But we talk about how the Pomodoro method doesn't work for a lot of people because you're not in the state of flow. It's hard to get into flow, and setting that up for every 25 minutes can put you out of flow really fast. So listen to that episode. It was very interesting, but we talk a little bit about monotasking and how by, switching and task switching, you can have something called attention residue, which is number 11. Having attention residue just kind of linger from the task. It's just hard to go back and forth. So being able to focus on one thing for a set amount of time is very helpful. Also, listen to my episode with Jake from Creative Hackers. That episode was really great too, about people who are multi-potentialites or neurodivergent thinkers. That one was really helpful as well for me. All right, number 12. I did a whole YouTube video about this, but that's setting process and outcome goals. Really, I'll link it below, but it was really helpful for me to realize that there's different types of goals, and some of them are just the goal to finish the thing that eventually is your final goal. So it's almost like having steps before you even get to the goal. So even doing the task that eventually will lead you to that goal is a goal in of itself. So I think really figuring out what your goals are and focusing on those and really being like, all right, what's my actual goal for today? Maybe you have 3 goals every day. I've heard a lot of people say that's a really good thing. Or maybe you have one big goal for the day, and can you get that done? And writing that down and knowing what it is. All right, the last one is challenges and streaks. I think streaks are great. I don't know if you've read Atomic Habits. They talk about like never miss a day twice. I have started doing things like the 75 hard challenge. I've tried doing different challenges that kind of force me every day to be consistent and showing up. I think that honestly, this is really helpful for me because it like forces me to do it, because it's like, all right, I'm doing a challenge. I'm challenging myself. So I think for all the people listening or watching, having a challenge or a streak that you can go through allows you to stay focused and stay consistent with what you're doing. So those are my 13 ways that I am in 2023 trying to focus and procrastinate less and try to get a handle on all the stuff I'm doing. I'm still not great at this, and these are just little hacks that I found that have helped me. I hope that they help you as well. Let me know in the comments or on my social media at Jenna Redfield what your thoughts are, what other content you'd like to see, and make sure to sign up for my newsletter where I have a ton more content. Anyways, I'll see you guys next week. Bye!